DC Archive Editions, an absolute great series. They produce so many of these. Golden Age Flash, Archive Volume 1, as well as many others. And I'm just going to go through my Golden Age collection of DC Archives. Always loved them. They started in 1989 and then, sadly, finished in 2014. So many great series could have been available, but sadly, we got what we got. Of course, there's always hope with the DC Finest. So what do we get? This lovely hardback. Now, they often quite thin, you can see there. Now, they did vary. Sometimes you get quite thick ones, actually. But this one's about 200 odd pages, 160 pages, probably, maybe, something like that. Now, what it does include, I'm just going to check now. No, to be fair to it, 220. And this one came in at $49.95. I don't know if the price varied over time. I paid £15 in Gosh. Really pleased. It was an estate sale. Had a load of them. A load of these ones, and I just picked this one up. So, DC Archives always came with a lovely introduction or forward. This one by Mark Waid. And you can see there it had the content, so Flash Comics. Now, it only featured the main character, the Flash. Of course, in lots of these ones, there were lots of other stories. Sadly, probably does mean that many of these will never be reprinted and only available via other means. But the stories, I love them. Now, they're not for everyone. They're really not for everyone. I know some people look at this and think, God, the artwork's very crude. It is, and the stories weren't of their time. I mean, they were not, yes, definitely of their time, but they included the covers there. You can see some of the stories there. You've got the Whip, Cliff Cornwall, and then we've got Johnny Thunder. Now, some of these characters, of course, and Hawkman, of course, some of these characters are still going. I don't know about the Whip. Somehow, I'm not aware of his story. But I love there. You've got sort of whizzing through all the people there. Somebody better blowing on my neck. I love that. Now, I wasn't really certain, actually, and maybe I'm just misunderstanding the story, but it did look like that his wife knew who he was. And then there was no explanation about that. It just seems, everyone knows that he's Flash, but at the same time, everyone doesn't know that he's Flash. And clearly you can see, obviously, there you've got Joan, of course, there is his wife there. Number 3, March. And like I said, they include the covers, and Flash didn't always appear. So Flash Comics. Now, I always think that obviously it showed the Flash there, so clearly it was connected with the Flash. But it's quite possible that the Flash comic came first and then Flash came later. I don't know the order of how they did it. Maybe they thought, you know what, it was a great title. It's also a great title for a character as well. Also a speedster. And I don't know if it was the first speedster. Absolutely no idea about that. But still, you can see the Flash there. And they really got into the story quite quick. They didn't hang around. It wasn't like a 700-page epic now. Back then, there were a lot. And you got here the feature and the king, and the villains were really quite minor scale villains. It was often someone that had some sort of special power, maybe, or he was running a mob or something, and there was just odd things. But eventually they did include some sort of characters that turned up more regular, had more sort of powers and things. And you can see there, obviously, there's the Flash again by Garden Fox and E.E. Hibbard, as it says there. That includes, of course, on the back, only 4 of the covers. They did include obviously more issues than that, but that's Jay Garrick, of course. And then on to the next one, and this is The Flash Volume 2. And I think that was it. Volume 2 was, well, but I thought the artwork improved, actually. It just got better and better. I mean, initially, I didn't think it was that great. It was fine, but I think, personally, absolutely reasonable. And let's just show a few more examples here. What gas? And you can see my speed is great. I can hold the gas before it could take effect. That's really quite convenient. Character looking a bit like the Golden Age Sandman there. But he's not, I don't think. You can see that definitely the artwork improved. The stories were absolutely fine as well. And also includes the All Flash Quarterly as well. Number 2 there, you can see there. And that was, of course, all Flash stories. I don't think they included anything else, though it might have included a couple of one-pages. And that's one thing that I think that would be nice to see a DC Finest of. It's not going to happen. I'm kidding myself if I think it's going to happen, because it's not. But it will be nice. There's so many little oddball characters. They had just one page. That was it. And they turned up quite regularly. There were obviously some variety. But of course, comics back then were based on that. You had obviously newspaper strips. Lots of those stories would be like, 8 or 6 panels, and that would be it. The story would be finished. Then we got Black Canary. Now, the Black Canary did feature, of course, in the Flash comics. And this is volume 1. There was no volume 2. And it's just one of my favourites. I think they brought out a later edition that had the same content. So I think it was probably a paperback or something. But you can see that, again, the artwork's it's pretty crude. And Black Canary, slightly different there than she was a bit later. You got more familiar of the Black Canary, of course. Also Johnny Thunder as well. And again, look at that. I mean, just really quite dramatic bit of artwork there. All eyes were on the, as it says, fight scene. And then it just stopped. It did actually run out near enough at the end of when it all just changed, where all the characters sort of disappeared, which I think was always a pity, because why would they continue? They turned into like funny animals and those sort of things, which again, unfortunately, they've never done a funny animal series. Again, another thing I would love to see in DC Finest. But what this does include is this. Got here the girls taking over there, fighting females, and you've got a lovely Black Canary story there, which I absolutely think is stunning. It's sort of Golden Age, same time it's not, but still, it is obviously a Golden Age story. Got that brilliant artwork there. Then we got this, Brave and the Bold. We got Starman. Of course, it was a sort of run of those sort of the Justice Society of America characters. And they did have quite a few of those stories. Again, there's the Starman, their story, absolutely fine. And also it finishes with some brilliant artwork from one of my favourite artists, the Black Canary. Look at that one, just great. Alex Toth, just amazing bit of artwork. Always great to see. And it also included, every time it included there, you can see there, so you've got the Golden Age Starman and Golden Age Green Lantern Archives Volume 1, etc. So you can see you got that. Now, I've actually got up here the Wikipedia. I'm just going to quickly go through it. Apparently, we did have like the comic cavalcade. I can never say that word. Cavalcade, even. That had the Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, etc. Now, I don't know if I've got that one. I might have. I can't remember. I think I have, actually. Have I got that one? Yes, I have. I thought I had. It was familiar. I have, in the past, had lots of the other ones. Golden Age Dr. Fate, Volume 1. Sadly, that was only one issue. There's lots of stories. They were very short stories, and there were lots of ones that never got, obviously, featured. Golden Age Hawkman, which, of course, were in The Flash. Then we had Plastic Man. Also, the Black Hawk, Volume 1. That was it. But, of course, we had DC Finest recently. Golden Age Spectre, Golden Age Starman, and 7 Soldiers of Victory. So there were quite a few. Plus, of course, we had the Justice Society of America. Those ones as well. Love those as well. So, Black Canary one. Let's go on to the next one, which is the Green Lantern. And here's the Green Lantern one. And this is only Volume 2. I think it did actually have Volume 1 there, but I think it was expensive. Or, I don't know why. Maybe I just had to make a decision and buy one. Sometimes you just, that's it. You've got a choice, you've got to go for one. I thought, you know what, Green Lantern Volume 2 was good. Again, very unusual artwork. I think the artwork is fine. I really love Golden Age artwork. It is not for everyone, I know. Some people look at this and think, that is terrible. I just thoroughly enjoy just the style. It was very, often would get quite abstract in times. Very odd. And also the stories were just all over the place. They didn't worry about anything. They just threw it all in. But there's no galactic adventures. There was nothing that would have the Green Lantern going off battling, of course, across the universe, which is fine. That's just the way, obviously, things are now. But these stories were very earthbound. And you can see there some more artwork. Again, these stories were in a mix of story ones. This one's All American Comics. These ones, of course, had other characters as well. I think the Green Lantern, once he became established, was quite regularly on the cover. But you can see there you also had the Green Lantern one. Look at that. That's a really dramatic cover, especially with the green and everything like that. I think that's just stunning. Now, we're on to the series. Now, I haven't got all of these. In fact, I've only got one now. I did have all of them. I think they went up to Volume 11. And this one's All-Star Comics, Volume 1. And the reason I kept this one was because it probably had my favourites. But luckily now, of course, we've got the DC Finest. And that's great. DC Finest are out. So with this, you've got here another from fairyland to the golden dimension, with stopovers, nation's most hallowed shrines, in the back alleys of Gotham City. These 5 issues of All-Star Comics run the gamut. And this game is about 190 odd pages, but it did have some classic stories, and which is the reason why I didn't get rid of it. Invasion from Fairyland, I love that story, really good. Again, just great oddball stories there. Absolutely odd. However, what it did include was this one, which is, I think, one of the best personally. And I'm just going to find the actual, there it is, All-Star Comics. I just look at that. Also, of course, inside cut as well. I mean, really, how it's slightly different, just slightly different. You've obviously got slightly different colour in there. It's exactly, other than that, I think that's about the same. But still, this is the Injustice Society of America one. Oh no, that's not the Injustice. Sorry, it's the Kid Gang Justice Society. And they got showing the future of all these kids. They're sort of gang, all the hoodlums, etc. and things. And they're all trapped there like that. However, the Injustice Gang comes next. That's the thing. I think that was brilliant. The Case of the Patriotic Crimes. And you can see that's just a real brilliant story. And I love that, especially since we included the Wizard, the Fiddler, the Sportsmaster, Icicle, which was there, I don't know who that was, and the Harlequin, and the Huntress, of course. Just great. Now, was the Harlequin? Yeah, I'm saying, yes, she was. She was in there. There she is, the Harlequin there. Great little stories. And also you've got another one, The Man Who Hated Science. But I just thought they were great all the way up to the end. They stopped at issue 57 and they're thoroughly enjoyable. Don't think, once you got past the initial, about issue 20, I think it was just on a real brilliant run of stories that I just thoroughly enjoyed. I wish I'd kept all the volumes. That was one of the things. But that's always the way. You get rid of them sometimes. And then afterwards you think, wish I hadn't done that. Still, there's that. So that's the, and again, I think this is one I got from probably Gosh as well. Whole run of brilliant archives in Gosh. Haven't had recently. Comic Cavalcade. And again, you see Gosh there. So it's £20, that one. £20. And it had just some great stories again with a mix of, you can see there, Wonder Woman, and also the red, white and blue. Flying colours there, Ghost Patrol, Hop Harrigan, etc. So it included not just the main characters. And that's the thing I really love about these books. You get quite a few of these ones. There was also a Rarities one. I don't know if that was called. Where it had the big American comic and that sort of thing. Just, or the World's Fair one. Now, the artwork definitely varied. I mean, that was, not the greatest, I don't think. But you got the Green Lantern one there, which I think is just great. And Green Lantern looking quite odd size there, I think. And on to the Flash. There's the Flash. I think that's the artist that would obviously regularly do it. Flash Comics. And it was always a great bit of advertising, of course, for the other one. More Adventures of Wonder Woman in every issue of Sensation Comics. And you can see there you've got other characters turned up in this. And they had these sort of things as well. Minute movies. The Golden West. Colourful film drama now showing. I don't know if this was an actual film. I assume it was. No, but it also had these. Mutt and Jeff. That's what I mean about one-pagers. These ones will not probably be reprinted at Wildcat as well. These sort of things will not be reprinted, I don't think, as often. Sargon the Sorcerer. Now, some of the stories are not that great. I would have to admit. But still, worth checking out. Also, finally, of all these, you've got this one. The Seven Soldiers of Victory. This is volume 3 archive. And sort of a lesser Justice Society of America. They never, ever would challenge that. But one thing they did get, of course, they did get appearance in Stargirl. So you did have a sort of a future form, which is quite good as well. And they appeared, obviously, in Justice League of America, etc. Now, they never have been those sort of big ranking one. Maybe they have recently, I don't know. But you got here, The Shining Knight. These were some of the lesser characters. And I think it was just great. Green Arrow, all those sort of characters. The Fortunate Fish. And again, lots of very oddball stories. And you can see all the gang would get together for the final bit of the storyline, which is, I think, was always an unusual way they did it back then. But still, one thing that's really good about this is that it includes this, World of Magic, the script for Leading Comics issue 15. And you've got here the complete script, which I absolutely love. I mean, it's just great just seeing it, all the various scene and all the people, obviously, what they're saying at that point. So that is a nice addition at the back of this. However, one thing I want to quick show, and let's just go here, and I just want to show the size. Let's just show the size. Now, the size, it's a bit bigger, not much, than the DC Finest. Inside, obviously the artwork and everything, I think is slightly smaller. Let's just have a look. So here's the artwork there. You can see, make a comparison yourself. Maybe about the same. Who knows? I think it's approximately the same, I think. But still, be aware of slightly, and the paper quality is slightly different, of course. These old DC archives, the paper was definitely nice quality, though sometimes slightly darker yellowy sort of colour, I always felt. This one, classic case in point, this one I can show you. Here's this, got a slight yellowish look to it. That's the Golden Age Flash one. However, I am going to quickly show you, of course, one of these, which is probably one of my only Golden Age comics. And this is All American Comics. And let's just quickly show you the size here. So you can see now, if I just drag this open and put this against this, and of course, never very practical, you can see it's much bigger. Look at that there. I mean, it just looks bigger straight away. You can see the page. So you can just go down there. It's about an inch, a couple of centimetres, I think, difference. And you can see there, just by purely looking against that it's definitely, this book is slightly smaller than the original. But I love these ones. And also, of course, I didn't think that the archives were so glossy in comparison with, say, the Epics or Marvel omnibuses. So those sort of things are a big difference. And you can see here the Green Lantern there. Just think, they don't include these either, which is always a pity. I actually really like this side bit. Not saying they should include all of them. And certainly DC Finest, if they ever come to print these, it would not be good to include all of them. But it would be nice, an example, just one example, just to show what sort of things. But this is the sort of thing. Cicero's Cat by Bud Fisher. Then you've got the Atom story. Now, I suspect that the Atom will never have, and there's probably quite a lot of Atom stories. I suspect we will never have a DC Finest of that. So that would be really nice. I mean, the stories, again, are very, very similar. Again, often quite gangs, or there might be some kid having troubles, or the police have arrested against this gun, clean up, etc. Yeah, bang up job of cleaning up. You often visit us more often. Also, a lot of humour in these sort of things as well. Harrigan, even, American, Ace of the Airways. We had all sort of comics as well in the UK, these sort of wonderful, these air aces, as they would say there. And you also had this, which I love, again, another thing that's always good, the autograph picture of Wonder Woman. Now, this one is an interesting one. It's about the Iron Lung. So you've got that, and you get a little free picture as well. So obviously that would be, those sort of things I think would be nice as addition at the back to include. Just one example of. And also Dr. Midnight, of course, and so on. They often had all these things. And of course, you've got all these adverts and things for things like Picture of and Red Tornado, another one that probably will not get a DC Finest, but Mutt and Jeff, I'm quite certain, will never get a DC Finest collection. Red, white and blue there, obviously, and there's old Adolf, of course. And, of course, you've got the usual adverts there, which I always love, the All-Star ones. And that was issue 15 of the All-Star, another meeting of the Justice Society. And that was an All-American Comics. You'd see the characters, the same characters, Green Lantern, Flash, they were all part of the All-American thing, and you can see that. Oh, so it does say there, must have been that change, Superman Publications, DC. One time I think they had an AA, you'd see that on there, and no, DC, exactly the same sort of thing. Oh, sometimes you'd see the AA, I'm quite certain. But you've got here the monthly things, you could see the list, bi-monthly magazines, quarterly magazines, and you can see the Green Lantern one there. Weirdly, All Flash was a bi-monthly, but Green Lantern was a quarterly. Very strange. But still, Boy Commandos, again, another one that would be nice to see but that is the DC Archives that I've got. That's it for DC Archives. I've actually got no Silver Age ones because, of course, with DC Finest and other sets and collections, there hasn't really been particular need. And perhaps if they bring out omnibus editions or DC Finest of these, I will get rid of these ones as well. But still, great to have them, or I have. Please put in the comments below, which ones have you got? Have you got the whole run of the Golden Age ones? Were you more sensible than I was? Which is, I often get rid of things and I think afterwards, why did I get rid of them? So all those Starman ones, the Dr. Fate, etc., did you keep them all? Because I expect now they're quite hard to find, not easy to find. And also, of course, there was the Plastic Man ones as well. And the Justice Society of America, of course, as well. I always forget those ones, part of that series of Golden Age ones. Well, hope you found this of interest. Any thoughts, please let me know in the comments. Bye.